Hello everyone, my name is Jason and this is Netminder Review. It is time for my weekly NHL goaltender power ranking video. And if you're new to my channel, if this is the first time you've watched this, then let me just give you some background. Every Sunday I do a video on the top 10 NHL goaltenders. I power rank them according to my system. I pick who I think is the top 10 right now and throughout the course of the season and rank them accordingly. And I do that every Sunday. So today is Sunday, February 9th, and it's time for another video. So this week, the video will include games that were played last Sunday, February 2nd, all the way up through yesterday, Saturday, February 8th. So the games that have been played today, February 9th, or some of them are still being played as I'm recording this, those games, the information from those games will not be included in this video. But before I get to the power ranking itself, last week I added a new feature to the power ranking video where I talked about some statistics from the previous week. I actually got a little bit of positive feedback on that, so I'm going to do it again. So every week throughout the course of the week, I watch all of the goals that are scored throughout the week. And I look at those goals and judge them honestly on whether or not I think they are weak goals. Now, you can go back and watch some of my previous videos to kind of understand how I look at a weak goal. But this week's weak goals are as follows. So again, this is from games played on February 2nd all the way up through games played yesterday. So we had Anton Khudobin of the Dallas Stars and Ben Bishop of the Dallas Stars that both had two what I classified as weak goals this week. Now, that's significant because the Dallas Stars win games through goal prevention. They are not a high-scoring team. They're one of the lowest-scoring teams in the NHL, but they've also allowed some of the fewest goals in the NHL. They have excellent goaltending, and they have great defense. Their scoring, it's not as good as they really need it to be. So it's very important that they do not have their goaltenders allowing easy goals to go in, and they normally don't. This is, I would say, a rare week. I doubt we're going to see very many weeks where the Dallas Stars have 4 weak goals in a week. Other goaltenders who allowed suspect goals this week: Carter Hutton from the Buffalo Sabres, Robin Lehner of the Chicago Blackhawks, Jordan Bennington of the St. Louis Blues, Anderson of the Anaheim Ducks, and then we have Jacob Markstrom of the Vancouver Canucks and Reimer from the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, the reason that I've got an asterisk here next to Markstrom and Reimer is because their weak goals were due to misplays on their behalf. So that's a situation where the goaltender, let's say, either leaves their crease to play the puck, as most goalies do many times throughout the course of a game, or maybe they're playing the puck in front of the crease, in front of the net, and they turn the puck over. The goaltender turns the puck over to a member of the opposing team, which leads immediately to a goal. That's what happened with Markstrom and Reimer this week. Both of them played the puck, did not play it well, and it ended up in the back of their own net because of it. So these are our weak goals or suspect goals or goals that were allowed in a little too easily this week. The next statistic that I want to look at from the past week is what I call stolen games. Now, stolen games is a statistic that I've invented, and my definition for that is a situation where a team is outshot by 10 shots or more, but they still win the game. Now, normally speaking, when that happens, it's because the goalie has played fantastically and stolen the game. Not always the case, but usually. So let's take a look at stolen games. So stolen games this week: Sergei Bobrovsky of the Florida Panthers, Anton Khudobin of the Dallas Stars, Andrei Vasilevsky of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Connor Hellebuck, Winnipeg Jets, Jonathan Bernier of the Red Wings. Now, I have an asterisk next to Bernier's name. Why? This stolen game happened earlier in the week, but, and I said at the beginning of this video that the data on my video today does not include today's games, but I just have to make note of the fact that today, the 31st overall in the NHL ranked Detroit Red Wings beat the first overall in the NHL Boston Bruins by a score of 3-1, the third goal being an empty netter. The Red Wings were outshot 40-20 in this game, and Bernier, seeing 40 shots, allowed 1 goal, and the Red Wings won that game. So I'm only putting up here that he had 1 stolen game because I'm technically not counting today's games in the statistics, but he had one heck of a game today. Carey Price from the Montreal Canadiens, Mackenzie Blackwood from the New Jersey Devils, and not only had a stolen game this week, but has had a heck of a week, which I'll talk about in just a moment. Carter Hutton of the Buffalo Sabres, Tristan Jarry of the Penguins, and Philip Grubauer from the Avalanche. Now, the last statistic that I'm going to look at from this week are shutouts. So shutouts this week. Mackenzie Blackwood from the New Jersey Devils. I said I was going to talk about him. Mackenzie Blackwood had 2 shutouts this week. They were in a row, 2 in a row, and they were being in net for New Jersey. Now, New Jersey has not been fantastic this year. They've been pretty rough. And so for Mackenzie Blackwood to give them 2 shutouts in a row is a big deal. And the first shutout was 40 some odd shots, and the last one was 37 shots, I believe. So he has stopped a lot of rubber in the last couple of games, played extraordinarily well, and caused the New Jersey Devils to come away with 2 wins. Elvis Merzlikins of the Columbus Blue Jackets also had 2 shutouts, 2 in a row also. Now, not as big of a surprise with Elvis Merzlikins as it is with Mackenzie Blackwood, because Merzlikins has been fantastic for a while, and the Columbus Blue Jackets overall are a better team than the New Jersey Devils. Tuukka Rask also had a shutout this week, and Antti Ranta from the Arizona Coyotes. So those are your week goals, stolen games, and shutouts for the week. Now that I've shared that information with you, let's move on to the power ranking itself. Okay, so who are this week's top 10? If this is the first time you've watched one of my power ranking videos, I want you to know that I grade each goaltender and give that goaltender a score. And then they are on the board based on their score. The score is based on their season-long statistics, along with recent statistics and recent play. And different statistics and different factors are biased to a different degree based on how important I think those particular factors or statistics are. So let's go ahead and look at goaltender number 10. Goaltender number 10 from the Winnipeg Jets is Connor Hellebuyck. Now, last week, Connor Hellebuyck had fallen off, and the Jets had fallen off. The Jets were really having some woes, some defensive woes, in my opinion, and they are starting to bounce back. They're starting to play a little bit better. And Connor Hellebuyck has gotten back to where he was. He was on my first few power rankings and then fell off, and now he's back. Connor Hellebuyck, according to my scoring system, scored 27 points. 27 points. So Connor Hellebuyck back on the list. Next up, number 9, and dropping. He dropped a little last week, and he's dropped dramatically this week. From the Dallas Stars, Ben Bishop. Now, Ben Bishop, according to my scoring system, scored 28 points. And in his last 5 starts, Ben Bishop is 2-2-1. So that is not as good. His record had been running a little bit better throughout the weeks, and now he's dropped a bit. In fact, he's dropped to the point, and I don't know the degree. I mean, I can't get in the coach's mind. I don't know the degree to which his play has determined this, but Khudobin has had more starts recently. So that may be part of, or based partly on the fact that Bishop's play has dropped a little bit. Now, his season statistics are still pretty strong. That's why he's still on the board. But I want this board to really represent goaltenders who have had good, strong season statistics, but are also playing very well right now. So Ben Bishop falls to number 9 on the power ranking. Number 8 from the Montreal Canadiens, Carey Price. Carey Price is 4-1-0. 4-1-0. 4 wins, 1 loss in his last 5 starts. Carey Price has been on the board. This is now 3 weeks in a row that he's been on the board. He hasn't really climbed much. He's hung around 7 and 8, but he's on there. And for the Montreal Canadiens, having him play so well lately is really encouraging, because early in the season, he just wasn't the Carey Price that we've all known. In fact, I was reading an article earlier this year on The Athletic, and if you don't subscribe to The Athletic, let me tell you, it is fantastic. You should check it out. But anyway, I was reading an article on there, and they were talking about what they believed Carey Price to be at the beginning of the season, and how early in the season he really hadn't lived up to that. Well, now he's bouncing back. Now he's making a comeback. And Montreal's played a little better lately. And Carey Price, according to my point system, 29 points. And they won't go 27, 28, 29, 30 all the way up. You'll see the points start to jump up more as we go. All right. So number 7 from the Boston Bruins, Yaroslav Halak. Now, the Bruins are really going with a play Rask, play Halak, play them both a lot. They're really going with a goaltending tandem, and it's working for them. Both goalies are playing very well. Rask, better, sure, but Halak really has been playing strong. In his last 5 starts, he's 4-1-0, and according to my point system, 30 points. Now, I know I just said they're not just going to go up in increments of 1, but I promise they'll jump more in a minute. So Halak playing very well, and Halak has been on the power ranking so far every week that I've done it, and he belongs there. He's playing very well. Number 6 from the Washington Capitals, Ilya Samsonov. Now, I had stated in a previous video, and I'll say it again now, if a goaltender is injured, they're not making the power ranking. I want goalies to be on here who are actually playing. Samsonov was injured, but he did come back. He actually got in the game. I think it was yesterday. The way time jumps around, I lose track. But Braden Holtby was pulled in his last start, and Samsonov went in. So Samsonov is back. I'm pretty sure that was yesterday. Anyway, Samsonov in his last 5 starts is 4-1-0 with a shutout. Okay, 4-1-0 with a shutout. The only concerning trend with Samsonov is that in his last 2 starts, he's allowed 7 goals combined. Not 7 in each, 7 combined. But still, he's a really phenomenal story, and I do think he is the Washington Capitals' long-term goaltender, not Braden Holtby. Now, Samsonov, we see a little point jump here according to my point system. 39 points. I know that's not the best looking 3 in the world, forgive me. Anyway, 39 points for Ilya Samsonov. Number 5 from the Dallas Stars, Anton Khudobin with, let's see here, 46 points. Now, I know that we really probably should look at Khudobin as a backup, and Ben Bishop gets quite a few more starts than Khudobin does. Last week, I actually took Khudobin off of the power rankings because he just hadn't played enough lately, but he started 2 games this week, The Dallas Stars are putting him back in, and he's playing well. He deserves to be up here. In his last 5 starts, he's 3-2-0, but his numbers are really good. He's really putting up good numbers. He's really playing well. I know he allowed a couple of weak goals on my weak goal chart, but even that being said, he's really one of the stronger goaltenders in the NHL right now. At number 4, and this is someone who has jumped up a few spots since last week. I believe last week he was 7th, if I remember correctly. And that's from the Tampa Bay Lightning, Andrei Vasilevskiy. Now, Vasilevskiy and the Tampa Bay Lightning are on fire. Vasilevskiy is 5-0-0 in his last 5 starts, and Tampa Bay is just skyrocketing up the standings. I looked at him today, and I know Boston was in first, and I can't remember if Tampa was in second or third. I think it was like Boston, Tampa, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, if I remember correctly. But Tampa's moved up the standings very quickly, and Vasilevskiy has played very well along the way. Now, Vasilevskiy also has 46 points, just like Khudobin, but I ranked Vasilevskiy higher because he's 5-0-0 in his last 5 starts. He's just been the better of the 2 goaltenders, even though their point scoring comes out the same. So, top 3 now. Let's look at the top 3. Number 3, Tristan Jarry. Tristan Jarry from the Pittsburgh Penguins, still playing very strong. Matt Murray is getting more playing time, but in Jarry's last 5 starts, he's 3-2-0, and his numbers are really solid. I will say, if he continues to share that playing time with Matt Murray, and if he continues to play where his record is looking like it is now, 3-2-0, if he keeps winning 3 out of every 5, 4 out of every 5, and Vasilevskiy keeps doing what he's doing, then I would anticipate next week we see Vasilevskiy jump over Jarry. But right now, Jarry's still holding strong. He's a really good goaltender. His numbers are really good. And Jarry has 54 points. So he's not way ahead of Vasilevskiy there. So you can see here with the 27, 28, 29, 30, and then we go over here and jumping up to 46 and 54. These points are being given out by me based on where they are in save percentage and goals against average, in wins, shutouts, how they've played throughout the week, whether or not they've had recent shutouts, stolen games, what their record is. It's a conglomeration of a whole lot of statistics all put together to come up with this point system. So you can really see when somebody jumps up, or when the points jump up a lot from one goalie to the next, that just means that goalie overall throughout the year or maybe recently has just been better. But this is also meant to reflect long-term. So like I said, if Vasilevskiy continues to play as amazingly as he is and Jarry continues to play really well but not quite as good, eventually they'll probably change spots. So who are 2 and 1? Now this was really difficult for me because both of these goalies, I mean, it could really be like a 1 and 1A situation or a sharing of number 1. I mean, both of these goaltenders are fantastic. And if I had counted today's games, it would have even been tougher for me. But since I came up, or I figured these statistics before today's games, this is how it came out. So at number 2, we have Elvis Merzlikins. Elvis Merzlikins of the Columbus Blue Jackets. And if you're not following the Elvis Merzlikins story, you should be. He is really good. And when Korpisalo was injured earlier this year for the Blue Jackets, I think probably everyone had a reason to say, well, all hope is lost for Columbus. And then enter Elvis Merzlikins, okay? Elvis came into the building and all of a sudden, man, are the Columbus Blue Jackets good. And now holding a playoff spot, and Merzlikins is tearing up the league. He's 4-1-0 in his last 5 starts, with 2 shutouts, and by my point system, 77 points. And so who does that leave for number 1? Tuukka Rask. Tuukka Rask of the Boston Bruins, the first place overall in the NHL Boston Bruins. Tuukka Rask, who is, was 5-0-0 in his last 5 starts, not counting today. I know that he lost today. He allowed in 2 goals today. The third Detroit goal was an empty net goal. And just out of curiosity, I recalculated all the statistics, and Rask and Merzlikins both would have had 77 points based on if I had factored in today's game for Tuukka Rask. But I didn't. This is still based on everything as it ended yesterday. So Tuukka Rask, 5-0-0 with 1 shutout in his last 5 starts, not counting today, and 80 points. So the Boston Bruins, Tuukka Rask is your number 1 overall goaltender in the NHL right now. And again, arguably tied for being the best right now with Elvis Merzlikins, and really they are. Any team in the NHL would be thrilled to death to have either one of those 2 guys as their starting goaltender. Now you will see here, Rask and Halak, 2 Boston goaltenders, and Bishop and Hudobin, 2 Dallas goaltenders. I don't love having 2 goaltenders from the same team on here, but I'll do it if they belong there. And in this case, both of Boston's goalies, both of Dallas's goalies belong there. Now, I do want to give some runners up, people who didn't have enough points to make it on the board, but have been playing well lately and earned enough points to at least talk about. And that's, I'll go from the lowest points to the highest. Marc-Andre Fleury with 12 points. Didn't make the top 10, but is at least noteworthy and mentionable. Thomas Greiss from the Islanders. Now, Thomas Greiss had been on the power ranking every week that I've done it. So this is the first week that Thomas Greiss has fallen off of the power rankings, and Greiss had 13 points. Robin Lehner, who has been on the power rankings at times, had 15 points from the Chicago Blackhawks. And someone who's just now for the first time gotten enough points to bother even talking about, and that's Philip Grubauer from the Colorado Avalanche, who's played much better lately. And the Avalanche are starting to climb again. And I looked at the statistics earlier, and if I remember correctly, they're 5 points behind the Blues for first place in the Central. And I believe Colorado has 3 games in hand. And I think they're playing right now against Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. I think I saw Francouz is in net, not Grubauer. But if Colorado wins all 3 of those 3 games in hand, then if my memory serves me correctly, they're going to move into first place over St. Louis. I mean, obviously, the Blues are going to have some games too. So that'll be interesting to follow and see who takes the Central, or at least where the Central stands in a week or two. The Blues have been dropping games like flies lately, not playing very well. Bennington has not been as strong, and Jake Allen, has been very good when he ends up in net. And speaking of Jake Allen, and I mentioned Francouz, for any of you that this is your first time watching my power ranking video, I do require that a goaltender has played a certain amount of games to be in consideration. Neither Francouz nor Allen have played enough games. So in my first few weeks of doing this power ranking, that number was 20 games. This week I moved it up to 22. I want to be really focusing on and looking at goaltenders, again, that are playing. I mean, a goaltender might play, back up and play a game every other week and have amazing goals against average, amazing save percentage, but really doesn't belong on the power rankings because he simply hasn't played enough games to be in consideration. So Francouz is not up here. I think if he's playing tonight, it might be like his 20th game or 21st, so he's really close. And Jake Allen, I think, has played, less than 20, but not many less, but nonetheless not enough to put them in consideration here. So I hope you find this information interesting. Do me a favor, if you would, comment on here. Tell me where you agree, where you disagree, what you would do differently. If there's anything that you wonder if I'm taking into account, throw it out at me so I can consider it. And then I'd really appreciate it if you would like this video, and I would really also appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. That would be super, super super, super, super awesome if you would do that. And thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye now.